How brake bias affects your car's rotation on corner entry. How's it going, ladies and gentlemen? It's your boy Prayers Nunchucks. And then for those who know or who saw the video, I did mention that I'm no longer going to be racing, but I'm gonna study the art of racing as much as I can. And so for practice purposes and applying the lessons and techniques, my sim of choice is AMS2, and the reason is because AMS2 doesn't let you get away with anything. You know what I mean? And so it's the best place to learn for me. But I know there's people who love Acero Corsa. I do love Acero Corsa as well. Acero Corsa title. So I need to explain something. For those who don't know, brake bias is basically, you know, how much you want the brake pressure to be at the front versus at the back, or to be at the back versus at the front. That's the simplest way I can think to explain it. Yeah. So now in Acero Corsa, the way it's represented is like this: lower percentages, it shows in percentages by the way in Acero Corsa titles. Lower percentages would mean that your brake bias is more at the back, and then higher percentage numbers it mean it's more at the front. But the way you can test that is like this: switch off your anti-lock brakes, yeah, anti-lock braking system, and then just, you know, drive the car, like just send it as hard as you can, and then step on the brakes hard. Just look at which tires are locking. Is it the front or is it the back tires? Usually you see it will show you there where it has like tire indicators. It will show you sort of like which tires basically are being affected or are being eaten, right? And so you see that, and then from there you know whether or not your brake bias is at the front or is at the back. Yeah. Anyway, now that's out of the way, I'm not gonna explain the technical details of it as to why it does that, because remember, the more you move brake bias to the front or to the back, it affects your weight transfer. You know, that will make the video very very long, so I would write that in the description. And so right now I just want to show you how it affects your corner entry, and you know how to fix like certain problems that you might be running into during a racing, especially if you are like me, you are learning trail braking, you know what I mean. And so there's certain things that usually happen and that will just frustrate the living shit out of you, and so this will give you solutions to that, the brake bias. So let's get started. I want you to pay attention to the car's behavior. For now, I'm gonna put my brake bias all the way to the front. Well, not all the way, but then mostly to the front. Yeah, and then I will send it, and then when we get to a corner, I'm gonna try to trail brake and then just see what would happen. I don't know if you'll notice that. Maybe let's raise the ABS a bit more. I don't know. What is y'all noticing? I'll tell you. One, the car takes longer to stop. You know, yes, I'm activating the ABS, but then the car takes a lot longer to stop. You know, that's the first thing. The second thing would be the car, I have to put in a lot more steering input to turn it in. So yes, it works there and there, but then the certain corners you just understeer. Yeah, and so that's what happens when you put your brake bias too far at the front. You start to like you brake, your braking, you know, becomes affected. It takes a lot longer to stop. Shit, it takes a lot longer to stop first, and then two, there's a risk of understeering. And then the opposite is also true with the brake bias more at the rear, which is, yes, you'll stop a lot faster, but then also the car becomes a lot more sensitive to steering inputs, and then the car tends to oversteer a lot. Yeah. Let me show you what happens. Notice how I'm just using like a small, like it's like 5 to 10% turn in on my steering wheel, like the input, steering input, like just a little. Notice what happens. I'm gonna try to do it again. Just notice how it's easy to turn in the car. You saw it. Not on the mid corner, I mean on corner entry. We're gonna do it again. Again, we're talking about corner entry, right? Notice how little input I have to put in for the car to turn in. Yeah, so anyway, you saw it. Now we're gonna exaggerate it a bit more. I don't know, you saw it. The car is quick to stop. It brakes a lot faster, that's for sure. But then, as well as it becomes so sensitive to steering inputs to a point whereby if you put in a lot more steering input than like you have to at a certain speed, the car starts to over rotate and spin out. Basically, it starts to oversteer and spin out. Again, I'm gonna do it again. You saw. One last time. Let's do it one last time. You saw what I mean, right? And so if you pay attention to the pros, most of the time they change the brake bias for each corner. Well, not for each corner, but then to suit, you know, the racing style and to attack like certain corners different. Like they'll keep on using that on the actual racing car in real life is that blue thingy, that blue button thingy, yeah. I mean blue knob. They keep on turning it, and then on the Porsche is, I think it's a button. They keep on, you know, moving it back and front, and the reason they're doing that is there's corners that you're gonna benefit a lot more when your car is able to turn in proper, like turn in or oversteer a bit. You know, you're gonna benefit from that. You know, and then there's certain corners whereby, you know, you're gonna benefit more when the car is stable and is less sensitive to steering inputs, because you need to like turn in. You know what I mean? And so mapping the button would actually help you in the long run. As you go, you start to notice these things as you go, that you know what, I could use a lot more what you call oversteering, or a lot more rotation on the car on the entry. So you don't need to go and mess with the setup. You can just, you know, change your brake bias. It will affect how the car is basically behaving through your corner entries, and you know, it becomes easier. So I'm gonna try to do a lap, just messing with them around. I usually run like fairly at the back, not too much at the back, just fairly enough to get me the rotation that I need for certain corners. Like this corner, I need a lot more rotation myself, because I don't know how to attack, you know, slow corners most of the time. Here I need this coming corner here, I need a lot more stability, as it's a fast corner and I need to turn in like very fast, yeah, and I need my car to be stable. And then comes this one. Listen, I missed it. Yeah, I need it to be a lot more stable, but then I can get away with this. The next coming one, I'm gonna need it to be a bit more loose, or a little bit more understeery. And so is the next coming one. I need it to be a little bit more oversteery. I overcooked it, but I think you get the point. And then also I also noticed something in the process of doing this. Whenever you're driving the 720S in ACC or you're driving the Ferrari 296 or the Porsche in high speed corners, it tends to do this. I will show you just now. In high speed corners, the car tends to do this. Let me show you. Especially the Porsche and the 296. It tends to do this as you're braking right into a very high speed corner. You just have to change your brake bias, put it more to the front, and inshallah things become easy from there on. Yeah, otherwise, thank you so much for watching. This video is longer than I wanted it to be, but yeah, man, I will go into detail if you want me to go into detail. But for the brake bias, I will tell you in the description as to why the car does what it does. Yeah, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you all, man.